Welcome back, everyone. My name is James Marcuzzo. I'm your host for the KSS. It's week 10, and we're going to talk about On the Nature of Citizenship by Andrew Oldenquist. I like this article a lot. It's something to agree or disagree with, but I think he says something that's important and relevant even today, though it was written 40 years ago. So he starts out by mocking the United States a little bit, basically saying we don't know how to raise or train or educate good citizens. And he says even the Soviets and the Chinese communists, right, tell their students that their homes or their countries are good places and they have good values and good institutions, right, even if they didn't. He said we somehow lack the backbone to even stand up for ourselves and say that we're good and we're valuable and our ideas are good and our values are good. And those are currently being challenged today. That's why I think it's interesting. He points out that I think there's a mistake in assuming that humans are infinitely malleable or inherently good. He says neither of those are true. Human nature is all over the place. We have certain things where predilections, but you have to train children to behave themselves. They have to be told, shown the right way to behave, and that depends sometimes on the culture. Right? It's not universal. Being a good American is not the same as being a good German. Like modern day German, not like not World War II German. So a good American is a good American, and it's not necessarily, but it could be close to a good Canadian or a good Mexican, but they might not be identical, and it certainly might be different from a good Italian or a good Macedonian or a good Turk or a good Japanese person, Japan, whatever, Nihonji. So, right. So every place is different, and citizenship education is specific to the place. So we in America, we have our own brand of citizenship education, and he says we're getting it wrong. Why are we getting it wrong? Well, he points out a couple things. One, guilt about our past sins, he thinks, is preventing some members of our society from holding everyone accountable to the same set of rules and expectations. He's probably right, honestly. He then goes on to also talk about our education system in terms of what most would probably understand as postmodernism, but currently is critical theory, almost exactly. And it's the idea that our country, because of our past sins, is so irreparably evil that you teach it as if it's a bad place. And well, that's exactly what he's saying is like, right, you can't do that. That's suicidal. And he's exactly right. I mean, there's no negotiating that point. If you raise children to believe that their society is inherently evil, either because of white supremacy or patriarchy or whatever, and there are different forms of evil in the power structures that are that we accuse of malfeasance. If you teach children that, how do they form bonds or affinities, either for the values, the institutions, right, of that society? They don't. They can't. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. If you teach a child that a place is evil, they should seek to tear it down or to fundamentally alter it. They wouldn't save it, and they certainly wouldn't seek to improve on it. Wow. Only took me 3.5 minutes, and I really just kind of nutshelled it all for you. So that's his fundamental argument. But I'll go further because it's worth saying. There's this line on the front that grabbed my attention when I first read the article, and even more now so in the last couple of years because of other books that have been produced in 2020 and 2021. He says citizenship education should foster group loyalty and white middle-class values, especially in black and poor white neighborhoods, because he put quotes around it, and so do I. So the question is it racist? Some people are thinking it's automatically racist. Some people are asking whether it is or not. And my response to both is no, it's not. One, he doesn't actually think that white middle-class values are a thing. That's the whole point. And I will connect this with current books of Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi and White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. In both of those books, they put forward ideas that different groups have different values, standards, and things we should expect of them. And specifically in America. So like white Americans have behaviors and expectations and standards and ideas and values that are different from black America. And 40 years ago, our authors saying that's insane and it's racist. And I would say to these current authors, it's still insane and it's still racist, right? Nobody owns the value of hard work. Nobody owns the value of punctuality, right? It's not a thing, right? Everybody in a society that wants the best for the children of that society and for the society at large, we should have value in education, value in the family, respect for parents, respect for institutions, respect for authority. I can see some of you rolling your eyes. I understand. But I urge you to think about it. Because he says, almost at the very beginning, any society that is non-suicidal, right, will teach these positive values to all the children, regardless of their demographic, right, affiliation. Because if you only teach some of these kids, right, the values of hard work, what's that one? Hard work, education, respect for family, and then that thing where you hold off self gratification, delayed gratification. It's a huge one, actually. So if you only teach that to one group of kids, and what do? Teach the opposite to other groups of kids? These kids are going to succeed, and those kids are not, because those are not good values. These are the good values. So our author is saying, teach all the kids the good values. Have fun with that. Talk soon.